What's going on, gamers? Dbmgamer here, and how are you guys doing today? I hope you're having a good day, because as for myself, not so good. Reason why? I just spent the last 2 days researching the Hive. So what I want to do today is I want to get into the Hive's Rogues Gallery, just like I've done in previous videos. But before I get into any of that, I have to get to my shoutouts. My shoutouts is how I show appreciation back to the community that has gotten me this far. And I want to give shoutouts to Chaz the Gamer, Pumpy Fluff, Andreas Halsey, Sierra Delta, Hazmat187, Fusion Gaming, Zernove Block, Robert Shin, Snetsu, and Rogue Hunter 117. So guys, let me tell you, the Hive are stuff of nightmares. From the outset, Bungie designed them to be scary. The Hive have great hatred for the light. To them, the struggle for light and dark is not only a war, it's a crusade. All light must be devoured so darkness can reclaim the universe. Yeah, that's the kind of crap that we're dealing with the Hive. They're pretty scary. Like I said, I spent the last 2 days just kind of digging into them and seeing what I could find out about them. And I have a lot of stuff to show you guys. To start off with, the Hive are known to inhabit the moon. That is their home base. Now, Hive that are on the moon do have a class association. These are known as the Spawn of Crota, and I've got a shot here of their house banner. But after doing a little bit of digging, I found out that this is not the only house of the Hive. There's actually others, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. Now, the classes of the Hive break down as this. You have the Thrall. The Thrall started out looking like this. And you can see from the outset, Bungie was designing something to be really horrifying. A reading from a grimoire card simply states, "The shadows have claws." Now, for that, they are definitely referring to the Thralls. So Thralls are creatures that will attack in swarms. They'll rush you, and while rushing you, they will scream. And Jesus Christ, what a scream. Now, the next class of Hive that you run up against is the Acolyte. Now, this is the first grunt, basically. These guys will actually use a little bit of tactics. They will duck for cover. They will peek and pop, take shots at you, get back behind cover. So they're actually fairly intelligent as opposed to the Thrall, which is just trying to rush you. Now next up is the Knight. Now the Knight is a little bit larger in size than you are, and they typically run 2 main types of weapons. They'll either run the basic broadsword, which you can see me getting attacked here, or they'll run kind of a grenade launcher, energy blaster. I'm not sure what you would want to call that. If it lands in the general vicinity of you, it does cause damage. And the Hive Knight does have a trick up its sleeve. If you start to damage him, he will summon up a shield. This is where tactics will want to come into play. If you're engaging this with a friend of yours, make sure you always keep an angle on a Knight, especially if he's equal or higher level than you, because while he has his shield up, his sides and his back are easily accessible. Now the next up, and my favorite, the Wizard. Alright, the Wizard started out kind of looking like this in early concept drawings, and they morphed from that into this. Now the Wizards tend to hover around the battlefield. They have kind of robes draping along the bottom of them, some of them crumbling, some of them are really exotic looking if you start looking at a lot of different types of wizards. They also run shields. And the biggest surprising thing is the energy blast. Not so much that they fire energy, but how they fire the energy. Now, straight from Bungie themselves in a early Game Informer, they outright said that the Hive Wizards call upon the darkness for their powers. The darkness is the unknown entity that's kind of driving all of these different types of alien races to attack humanity. So there's a strong connection between the Hive and the darkness. Now, due to a very bad line read, the first meme in Destiny was born. That wizard came from the moon. Bungie had so much fun with this, they actually made a t-shirt of it for charity. So I kind of had my laughs at it. I always wondered, what would it be if Peter Dinklage did not do the line read? What if others did the line read? Perhaps Samuel L. Jackson. And then the short time frame that we were allowed to go on the moon, I also kind of wondered, well, you know, what did the wizards think of us? Now next up is the Shrieker. The Shrieker are a class of Hive that possess a metallic body containing an energy core inside. It pretty much stays perfectly still until you provoke it. Now once provoked, it'll split and start firing energy blasts all the way around it. Alright, so the next class that we're going to go into is the Hive Ogre. Ogres are a giant member of the Hive. The Guardians actually have little information on the Ogres. Reason being, very few have survived encounters with these beasts. Warlocks actually believe they are a product of unusual mating rituals. These being the process of unrestrained rage, giving them the ability to escape their creator's controls. Now the first encounter that anybody ever had with an ogre within Destiny had to come with an encounter in the grottos. Now many people thrill seek to win in the grottos and win after this guy, and you couldn't do anything to him. The alpha pretty much kept you from damaging the beta as well. But I found out that this isn't the largest ogre that you will have to deal with in your course of Destiny. What I want you to look at here is a panoramic shot of the Hellmouth, the Hellmouth being the home base of the Hive. Now if you notice, there's a large chain running through the center. Now for a long time I have speculated that this chain runs the length of the building, and what does the chain hold down? And for a long time my thought process was this, that it chained down Fogoth the Untamed. Now after doing a lot of digging, I can pretty much tell you that this is actually your last boss on one of the strike missions that you'll be allowed to go in the full game. Now since we're on the topic of the Hellmouth, let's get to the topic of the different houses of the Hive. The first one being that, of course, the one that we know of is the spawn of Crota. Crota being the ones that were easily accessible within the Hellmouth, but the Hive have moved out, and this was the basis of the alpha and in the beta. The ones that can be found on Earth are known as the Hidden Swarm. But it turns out after a lot of digging, there was possibly a third house. Now the only way that I found to differentiate between the Hidden Swarm and the spawn of Crota were on the thralls themselves. The thralls that were the Hidden Swarm, they have red marks upon their shoulders. The ones that were on the moon had no marks whatsoever. And I know this is very subtle, but that's about all I could tell as far as the difference of looking at them. Now as it turns out, there may be another house within the Hellmouth. A rumor is that there's possibly another house known as the Blood of the Oryx. I traced down a Vanguard bounty, and the Vanguard have named off their target, Frigoris, the Exiled Baron. The only way that you can get access to Frigoris is in the mission Shrine of the Oryx. But it turns out this isn't the only Hive bounty that the Vanguard want. They also have two more targets in mind for you. Banuk the Prince and Murak the Ire Prince are also wanted by the Vanguard. The only place that you could find these guys in the Sword of Crota mission. What are they doing? I don't know. The only way that we'll know the answers to this is to play the game when it releases on 9/9. Well, alright guys, that's all I've got. If you like this type of content, just hit that like button, or just leave a comment. Or if you just want to see more, hit the subscribe button. But as always guys, have a good one.